Now, you've probably heard about folks like Wyatt Earp, Jesse James, Doc Holliday, and Wild Bill Hickok. Legends of the frontier whose stories are known all over the world. The Old West is full of tales about courageous men and women who helped shape the country. But this isn't another tall tale about some make-believe pistol-packing paragon of justice wandering the territory looking for another wrong to right. No, the story you're about to hear is about three men who are by no means saints, but often found themselves in aid of those who could not stand up for themselves. Brave and often ruthless men who traversed the territories, leaving a trail of death in their wake. This is the story of three brothers. This is the legend of the Brothers Floater.
That's good. But you're still pulling it, Henry. Just relax.
I am.
You're thinking about it too much. You gotta squeeze slow and gentle, like you would squeeze a woman.
I ain't never been with a woman before.
One problem at a time. Try again. You got this. I believe in you.
All right.
There you go.
I did it.
Yeah, you did. Now go on and replace them bottles, and we'll do it again.
Bartholomew Fannis Floater, what in God's name do you think you're doing?
What?
You know full well what. I will not allow you to corrupt my brother with your foolishness.
Begging your pardon, Miss Kitty, but I ain't corrupting no one. I'm only teaching Henry to defend himself.
You're teaching him the fastest way to get himself killed. Do you honestly think he's going to learn how to draw a gun faster and not go looking to prove himself as a man? Use your brain, fart!
Miss Katherine, if I may.
Are you seeing this, Phil? Are you seeing what your addle-headed brother is teaching my kin? He's going to get poor Henry killed. I don't like it, and I want him to stop this foolishness immediately.
Friends, I don't think I need to tell you, the frontier can be an incredibly dangerous place. There are all manner of bloodthirsty, ravenous beasts lying in wait for the perfect moment to pounce and tear you limb from limb. There's also bears, mountain lions, and wolves. There's really only one way a person can protect themselves, and that's knowing how to properly handle a pistol or rifle. Now, despite his numerous flaws, it can be argued that there is no one more qualified to teach those skills than Fart Floater. When we last saw the brothers, they had fended off threats from Charles Kane, who seemed intent on making Miss Katherine his wife. The brothers killed several of Kane's men, and one unfortunate horse who was the victim of Phil's favorite shotgun, Brimstone. Following that event, Fart decided to take it upon himself to educate young Henry Morgan in the proper way to defend his home and family.
With respect, Miss Katherine, I've been watching them two all morning, making sure that nothing bad happens. Given how awful he was the night we showed up, I don't think it's the worst idea for that boy to learn how to better defend himself.
Well, why can't you teach him? Look, no disrespect to Fart, but he isn't the most even-tempered sort, and I don't want Henry getting any ideas of marching into Strawberry and doing something stupid.
I promise that ain't gonna happen. I've been watching them both these past few weeks, and it's obvious to me that Fart's taking a shine to your brother. He feels protective of Henry in the same way that he does both Frank and myself. He'd take it quite badly if anything unfortunate were to happen. So the very last thing that he'd allow is for Henry to go storming off to Strawberry or any other place looking for trouble. All Fart wants here is to make sure that Henry will have some sort of chance should trouble come looking for him. That's all.
Well, when you put it that way, I suppose perhaps I'm making a fuss over nothing. And I do feel better knowing that you're keeping an eye on them, making sure things don't get out of hand.
Don't you worry none, Miss Katherine. I'll make sure that Fart doesn't go filling Henry's head with any of his nonsense. You have my word.
Thank you, Phil.
Hey, What you doing with that wagon?
What's it look like? I'm hooking up Otis here so I can take him into town.
What for? Do you need me and Frank to come with you?
No. I need you not to ask so many damn questions and finish that fence like I asked.
Now, don't get your union suit all bunged. We're gonna get it done today.
Good.
Say, Phil, why do you look like that?
Like what?
Well, like that. You got your hair all neat, and you're wearing your best bib and tucker. And did you take a bath?
No.
Yes, you did. You took a bath. Hey, Frank! Phil took a bath.
What?
Can you believe it? Come here. Come give him a sniff.
Will you shut up and get to work? You're wasting daylight.
Say, you do smell a lot better, Phil. What's the occasion?
I'm only gonna warn you two one last time.
Oh, stop your fussing, Phil. We're just trying to pay you a compliment. It ain't every day you put on your Sunday best. We was just wondering as to the reason.
Why is it your compliments always sound so insulting?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Why, just last night I paid Rosalita a very nice compliment and she didn't seem insulted at all.
I don't know that belching like a locomotive horn at the table is considered a compliment. Why are you hooking up the wagon, Phil?
He said he's going into town.
What for?
That's what I said.
Katherine and I are going into town to pick up a few things that we're in need of. I don't expect we'll be back until after dark.
You want us to come along?
No need for that. I believe you'd only be a hindrance in what I want to accomplish. You'll be better off staying here and finishing that fence.
Well, now, I know why you took a bath. A fine lady like Miss Kitty should have a well-to-do man about in town on her arm. You almost look the part.
Would you please get the hell out of here and go get them fences mended?
All right. You don't need to shout. We're going. I don't know why you're all acting all squirrely. I was just trying to be nice.
I ain't acting squirrely.
You're acting a bit squirrely. You've been talking louder and faster than normal, and you've been fumbling about with that harness like it's your first time you ever hooked up a wagon.
And you're sweating. A lot.
Well, these buckles are a bit rusty, and you two milk drinkers are distracting me, and it's hot out here this morning.
Hot? What do you mean hot? Phil, I could hear the frost crunching under my boots as I walk from the house. Why are you making up excuses? Are you okay?
You getting the back door trots? I can see if Rosalita has some stomach bitters.
You both, please just mind your business and get to your choring.
I don't know why you're in such a foul mood. Having Miss Kitty on your arm all day would be enough to put a smile on any man's face, and you look... Well, hey, wait a minute. Phil, where's fire and brimstone? Why ain't you wearing your guns? Frank, he ain't wearing his guns.
Phil, you aren't seriously gonna go into town without your guns, are you?
That's a real bad idea, Phil. Seeing how we already killed some of Kane's men.
You're just asking for trouble, Phil. You sure you want to walk into Canestown unarmed like that?
If something happens, then you won't be able to.
All right, that's enough. For fuck's sake, you two sound like a couple of old ladies. Since you two are clearly incapable of shutting up and leaving me in peace until I explain everything to you, listen up. Miss Katherine and I will be going into town to pick up some things she needs, and she wants to do some perusing of some of the specialty stores. And I don't want you two milk drinkers tagging along because you'll only make what I want to do harder. And I'm leaving my guns because I don't want her remembering me getting into any violence on the same day that I ask her to be my wife. What?
Damn it.
What?
He owes me $2. I bet you'd take Miss Katherine somewhere nice to propose, and he was sure you'd do it right after you finished lying with her.
I am going to punch both your fucking horses. I'm gonna knock them out cold. You hear me, you fucking idiots?
Good morning, boys.
Good morning, Miss Kitty.
Morning, ma'am. Allow me to say how nice you look on this fine morning.
Well, thank you, Fart. I hope that I can trust you boys to behave yourselves while your brother and I are away.
I expect so. Ain't much trouble we can get into all the way out here.
Now, I suppose that's true.
Well, not that we've really tried. I mean, we've been pretty well occupied with fixing up the ranch and whatnot. But I bet if we really applied ourselves...
Fart?
I'm just saying that we...
I know exactly what you're saying, and I don't want to hear anymore.
All right, just settle down. Come on, Fart, let's get that fence finished. If we get it done before lunch, maybe we could spend the afternoon helping Henry improve his aim.
But we ain't got no more empty bottles.
Then I guess we'll have to empty some.
Oh, I like how you think, big brother.
You just make sure to get your work done first, Fart, or so help me.
Don't you worry about us none. We can handle our chores just fine. I expect you got bigger things to occupy your brain today.
I suspect Phil and I won't be back until supper. I asked Rosalita to prepare something extra special for lunch today.
That is awfully sweet of you, ma'am. Thank you. Come on, Fart, let's go find Henry and get that fence all finished up.
I do hope you have a pleasant day, Miss Kitty, in spite of having to spend it with Phil here.
Why can't he just stop jawing?
Well, thank you, Fart. Well, Phil, are we ready to go?
I believe so. Allow me to help you into the wagon, my lady.
Well, thank you, kind sir.
There you are. I suppose you're ready then. All right, Otis. Let's go. Yeah! It's a bit chilly, but once the sun crests the mountains, I think it's going to be a truly fine day. I think we'll have a nice ride into Strawberry, seeing as the leaves are changing color. I remember you seemed to like that.
Well, I still do. There's something very peaceful about the coming of autumn. It's still my favorite season. Phil, seeing as we've got quite a long journey into Strawberry, I don't suppose you'd consider entertaining me with a few of your stories of your adventures?
Oh, I suppose I could regale you with a tale or two along the way. Was there something specific you wanted to hear about?
I'd love to hear about your time in Mexico. Oh, I find the idea that you've been to another country fascinating.
With all due respect, Miss Katherine, there is a vast well of tales that I will happily regale you with, but Mexico and my time therein is not one of them.
Well, why ever not?
Because we don't talk about Mexico.
Philip Floater, if you're refusing to share with me because you believe my delicate womanly sensibilities would be affronted in some form or fashion...
Miss Katherine, it is not out of some noble need to protect you from the knowledge of my many sins that I refuse to share with you my tales of my time south of the border. I'm more than happy to speak to you on the great many things I've seen, said, and done in the course of my lifetime, no matter how awful those things might have been. But I will never, ever utter a single word in regards to what may or may not have happened during my time in Mexico. I would ask you to please never ask me of it again.
Oh, I apologize to you, my sweet Philip. I would never wish to cause you distress or to reveal things you wish to keep hidden. I know you must have your reasons for not speaking on the matter, and it is wrong of me to pry into your affairs. Please forgive my curious nature.
I accept your apology, and thank you for your understanding.
Would your brothers tell me?
I've taken great pains in making sure that they not only have no idea, but are forbidden from even thinking about the subject.
Oh, all right then. Well, how about you tell me a story about Philip Floater and his valiant brothers? Tell me about your encounter with the gentleman Jack Perkins.
Oh, all right. Now that's a tale I'd be happy to share. Let's see. It all started while we was down near Cholla Springs. Frank had the idea that maybe we could settle down and start making our own brand of whiskey. Well, I thought it was a fine idea, and even Fart didn't hate it. Once we made him understand, he'd have a never-ending supply of whiskey to get drunk on. Anyway, we made our way up to Rathskeller Fork. We was looking for a place to set up our distillery. believe it. Fart scoops up the bastard's hat, puts it on his own head, and goes, "You can call me Gentleman Fart from now on." Look at that. We made it into town. Didn't feel like it was all that long a ride. Well, miss, what would you care to do first?
Why don't you stop in front of the general store? After you hitch up Otis, you can be a lamb and help a lady down.
Oh, there. Oh. All right, Otis. You be a good boy and stay right here. Maybe we should have brought some carrots for him.
We can get some for him before we leave. I think he's earned them.
So where to first?
Why don't we go see Mr. Timmons in the haberdashery? I think Henry needs a new hat.
Would you allow me to escort you?
Such a gentleman! Won't you lead the way, good sir?
As you wish, milady. Actually, perhaps it would be better for you to lead, seeing as I have no idea where the haberdashery is located.
It is over this way, sweet Philip. Come on.
You look... I mean, you...
Are you all right, Phil? You look sort of pale. And you're a little sweaty. You ain't getting sick now, are you?
No. I'm just... I don't feel very comfortable hereabouts without my guns.
Well, I appreciate that you left them behind like I asked. I just want one day without violence. So long as you don't provoke or allow yourself to be provoked, I know everything will be just fine. Come on, let's go see what Mr. Timmons has inside.
Miss Morgan. I'm sorry, but I can't be seen doing business with you.
Well, Mr. Timmons, you've sold to me before.
Yes, but Mr. Kane has been quite adamant that no one in town should deal with you until your debts are paid.
Well, fortunately for you, sir, you'll be selling to me.
I'm afraid that won't work either.
And why is that?
You see, Mr. Kane has expressly forbidden anyone in town from trading with anyone associated with the Morgans. He was very clear on the matter.
And why is that?
He claims the Morgans killed some of his men in cold blood and stole their horses and sold them.
And did he mention the part where he sent those men to kill us? Or how he's been oppressing the Morgans in order to take their land? Never mind the fact that he's a son of a
Philip! That's enough. I thank you for your time, Mr. Timmons. Good day. Let's go, Phil.
Dang, no good. Lying son of a bitch. I ought to go up to that saloon and break his jaw.
You most certainly will not. You made me a promise, Philip Floater. We are going to have a pleasant outing today.
All right, Miss Katherine. I swear that I will refrain from all thoughts of violent retribution against anyone who kowtows to that piece of scum, Charles Kane, for today.
Good. Now, I'm sure we'll find someone here who's willing to stand against Kane and take our coin. We simply need to be patient. Well, let's try Mrs. Gutenberg's. You mentioned that Frank would like a new jacket.
We don't really need it. Rosalita did a fine patch job on the one he's got.
Yes, but seeing as she wouldn't have had to if my brother hadn't shot him, and besides, he's worked really hard and hasn't complained once, I really want to show my gratitude to all of you.
That is very generous of you, Miss Katherine, but
Phil, I don't want to hear another word on the matter. My mind's made up.
All right, then. I won't try and stop you.
Mrs. Gutenberg is a fine seamstress, and I'm sure she'll have something nice, but I'll need your help choosing something.
Well, bless my soul. Miss Morgan, what a pleasure. It's been quite a long time since you was in town.
It's mighty fine to see you, Mrs. Gutenberg.
I was beginning to think that Charles Kane had run you off, well, I'm beaming with joy at seeing you today. How can I help you today, honey?
I'm looking for a new jacket for a gentleman friend of mine. Something sturdy, but nice.
I'm sure we can find something to your liking. I got a few things in from New York you might like.
Thank you again. See, Phil, I told you we'd managed to get most everything on our list. We just needed to be patient. While folks might fear Mr. Charles Kane, they still have to feed their families, and coin is coin.
Once again, Miss Katherine, you were right.
Now, I think we just need to find a gift for Fart, and we can get there.
I think that might be much more difficult than you think. Fart is a pretty simple man in that he's got everything he needs. So, if you'd asked him, he'd probably say he couldn't have too many guns. That being said, I refuse to let you spend that kind of money just to show your gratitude.
Nor would I offer to do so. But I do feel an obligation to find him something, especially seeing as we got Frank that very lovely jacket. Do you think he'll like it?
Well, I do. I reckon Frank will think it's the finest jacket he's ever owned. As for Fart, well, the only thing I can think of that he would truly be thankful for would be, well, a box of shells for them new pistols of his.
Then it's settled. After we have ourselves some lunch, we'll go visit Mr. Hurst.
Well, that sounds like a good plan. So where will we be going to get a meal?
There's really only one place in Strawberry where a person can get a decent meal. That's up there at Mr. Kane's saloon.
Begging your pardon, but I'm not sure that's such a good idea.
Now don't you worry none, Phil. I sincerely doubt that he will bother us while we're eating. He may be one of the foulest creatures to ever breathe air on God's good earth, but at the very least, Charles Kane has some manners. And it just so happens that Joe's wife is quite a cook and makes a roast chicken that melts in your mouth. Good afternoon, Joe.
Why, Miss Kitty Morgan, as I live and breathe, it's so very nice to see you. If you hear from Mr. Kano, I'm afraid he's away at the moment, but I'm sure he'll be back soon if you care to wait.
No, we're not here for Mr. Kane. We actually came in because I swear I could smell Lillian's roast chicken cooking all the way down at the stables.
You're not wrong, Miss Kitty, and she made some fresh biscuits too. Would you care for some?
Oh, that would be just heavenly. Thank you, Joe.
All right, that's it. We finished the fence. Henry, why don't you take all this back up to the barn and we'll get us some lunch.
All right. You need any help, Frank?
Don't you worry about Frank none, I got him. You just get this put away and get washed up. Go on now.
Bee in your bonnet there, Fart?
I suppose there is. It's this whole situation with Phil got me thinking. I guess I just always thought we'd be together until they put us in the ground. But now, I'm realizing that maybe we all got things we want to do in this life that maybe...
You're afraid of being on your own?
No, it ain't that. I think I could be fine out there without you two tagging along. I guess maybe I'm just worried what might happen to you or Phil if I'm not there to look out for you. And I guess maybe I'm feeling bad because I never even thought about Phil thinking about settling down and getting hitched and all that. I mean, can you even imagine Phil raising youngins?
Well, he raised us.
Exactly my point.
Okay, yeah. When you put it that way.
Guess what I'm getting at? I feel bad for not asking what you boys want out of life. I mean, I'm happy as I can be tearing across this great land with you at my side and all, but, well, maybe you ain't. Well, I don't want to go on holding you back if there's something that you got out of your heart set on.
You know, Fart, there are times, little brother, when you truly astound me.
You don't need to go insulting me now.
It wasn't no insult, Fart. Look, I know that we give you a hard time and all, and Lord knows half the time you deserve it, but sometimes I believe you truly are the best of us. As for what I want out of this life, well, be perfectly honest, I don't rightly know. I haven't really given it much thought. I know eventually I'll likely get tired of all this moving about and the type of life we lead. I know eventually I'll likely get tired of all the moving about and the type of life we lead, to be sure, but I suppose until I find something more appealing than the open trail.
Like a woman?
There are other reasons for a man to want to change his life. It doesn't always have to be a woman.
I suppose. But I just can't think of anything that would make me want to leave you boys. Like I said, you've always just been there. I'm having trouble thinking of what it'd be like without you. I've always had you both to talk to, pass the time when we're riding, or have my back when I go picking fights. But if you're both gone, who do I trust?
Fart, of the three of us, I reckon you're the one who would most likely prosper on his own. But if you're really worried about being alone, maybe after Phil and Miss Kitty tie the knot and start building their life together here, you and I start auditioning folk to run with the Fart Floater Gang.
What happens to you and Phil? I mean, who's going to look after you?
Fart, it ain't going to be like when Phil ran off that time. You won't have to spend months looking for us. You'll know right where we are. Phil will be right here with Miss Kitty, and I'll be wherever it is I decide that I want to be. You'll always be able to find us and visit whenever you want.
Well, I reckon when you put it like that, I guess it ain't so bad. And to be honest, I like the idea of running my own gang. The Fart Floater Gang. Yeah, I do like the sound of it.
Does have sort of a nice ring to it, don't it? Come on, Fart. Let's go on up to the house and get us some lunch. We can figure out where we might go and find the most qualified candidates to join your new gang.
Well, I admit it. That was indeed a very fine meal.
Well, I suppose perhaps you'll find more faith in my judgment.
I've always had faith in you, Miss Katherine.
Oh, you are awfully sweet. Now, I suppose the only thing left to do is pick up some shells for Fart, and then we can... Phil?
Miss Katherine, there's something that I want to ask you, if in a may.
Of course, Phil. You can ask me anything. Wait, what are you doing? Philip Floater, get up off the ground. You're getting... Oh, my word. Phil, are you?
Miss Katherine, I've thought a lot about things, and well, since you've come back into my life, I'm not very great with words, but...
No, you're really not!
I know, but I've been sort of rehearsing it all in my head, and I hope you'll let me try to get it all out. See, being back here with you, it stirred something in me that I thought I'd buried deep down. Feelings that I really didn't think I could feel anymore. And well, Miss Katherine, I'm hoping that maybe you'd consent to becoming my wife and building a life together.
Oh, Phil, yes, 1,000 times, yes! And here I was beginning to wonder if maybe... Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm so happy.
I've never been so nervous in all my life, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, my heart is beating so fast, I can't believe this. Oh, I love you, Philip Floater. I love you, and I don't care. It knows it.
I do, Katherine. I love you, too, and I think we've used up about all of Mr. Kane's hospitality.
That's a very odd thing to say. You just proposed, and now I don't know.
Listen to me now. I want you to start walking toward the wagon, quick as you can now.
Phil, you're scaring me.
My apologies, but I think it's best if we get out of town right away.
Very well. Oh, Phil, where's Otis? I'm quite certain we hitched him up down there by the posting office, and I don't see him or the wagon.
If I had to hazard a guess, I'd say that someone in Mr. Kane's employ absconded with our wagon. Well, not to worry. If we have to, then we'll walk all the way back to the ranch. But may I suggest we hasten our journey.
We're being followed, aren't we?
It does appear that way.
All right, then, let's...
The Legend of the Brothers Floater, Episode 6, The Proposal. Directed by Travis Box. Written and produced by James Robinson. Story by James Robinson. Characters created by James Robinson, Travis Box, and Danny Hedham. Music by Danny Hedham. Featuring the voice talents of Travis Box, James Robinson, Danny Hedham, Samantha Stark, James Blend, Rebecca Gurney, Nick Gurney, and Sam Clements. The Legend of the Brothers Floater is a Not Another Podcast production.